this one to determine this season. City just cruised past Sheffield United to get into the FA Cup finals. Meet Real Madrid in the semis. Not a given, especially given last season. So may not make it to the finals of the Champions League, but can definitely almost guarantee themselves a double if they win this game. On the other hand, Arsenal absolutely need a win. Coming off of 3 draws, the points gap has really shrunk. City with 2 games in hand. If they win the 2 games in hand, they essentially go a point clear of Arsenal. So this becomes a game that a draw probably works in. I think it still works in City's favor, but either team would probably take a draw at this point. But a win for either side essentially guarantees them the league title. So let's talk about this game. What are your thoughts?
Who scripted this Premier League? I have no clue. I have no clue. But if you were watching or waiting for a filmy end or a theatrical end to the league season, then I don't think there's anything bigger than this one. This has to be the biggest game of the Premier League season so far. And with only 6 matches to go, I don't think there are any other games that could have as much of an impact than this one. I'm just looking forward to how we are going to go at the Etihad with key injuries. Maybe Saliba turns up. Maybe Saliba works through his pain. Maybe we do something different this time around and give City the toughest fight they've seen in their backyard for a while. Or things just go as they have been going by for the last few years for Man City and the Premier League. The league really has become dominated by City over the last 5-7 years, coinciding with Pep Guardiola's tenure. No, make no mistake about it. But I think his focus is still on the Champions League. Hopefully, it still remains on the Champions League. And since we have no involvement in there right now, we couldn't care less. I couldn't care less. I couldn't care if City do it or whatever, they reach the finals or whatever, but kind of focus there and just let this slide, maybe. But again, there is also this thing where Pep can equal the treble of Alex Ferguson. I mean, Man City can get level with Man United or getting a treble. Ferguson did it in '99 with the FA Cup, the Premier League, and the Champions League. City are well in contention in all of those 3 competitions right now, and Pep could just be that name who says, "Now I'm level with you."
And also, Pep has his own demons to fulfill, right? Because not won a Champions League since leaving Barcelona. Always a chip on his shoulder as well. So he'll be eager to end that for him. But like you said, the bigger one is always winning a treble in the Premier League has always been, well, it's considered one of the most difficult things to achieve. Only been done once by Sir Alex Ferguson, right? My biggest worry going into this game is, again, I'm really worried that Saliba is going to be rushed from an injury. The fact that he did not play against Southampton does not put any confidence in me, because then there is just 4 games to 4 days for him to come back into any kind of fitness to be able to play this game. By the same token, my bigger worry now has turned out to be the one player that we blamed for last season's failure is Thomas Partey. Him not being available last season was the bigger worry. This time around, the last 2 games he's just been so bad. And it's worrisome. Part of it has just been something, he's gotten a little cocky. This last game against Southampton, he just looked like he didn't have enough confidence. That shot towards the end of the game, like he absolutely had no reason to take that shot.
That was never a shot. Should have just looped that ball in somewhere, passed it in.
And going up against this Manchester City team who have gotten this new tactic of crowding the midfield by pushing an extra defender into that midfield, I don't know if Partey is ready for this game. The problem is nobody else can play either, though, right? Like, it's no way Jorginho is going to take Partey's place and play a better role in that position as well. We are assuming Granit Xhaka is going to be fit again
We have to have him.
Because there is no way Vieira can start. And for whatever reason, I think Emil Smith-Rowe has either fallen out of grace. I have to believe he's match fit by now, but for whatever reason, he's not getting the kind of game time that we thought he might get now that he's fit again. What are your biggest worries and what are your biggest points for optimism.
I hopefully want to see Saliba and Xhaka play and have probably the same lineup that has had a significant impact across the season. Biggest worries being one, them targeting the left flank, because if Zinchenko is going to be the third midfielder, the extra midfielder, then you're leaving a space for them to exploit. And how do you negate Haaland and De Bruyne and Rodri and whoever they choose to start on their wide position? So it has to be a one-on-one situation, very much a one-on-one who gets to mark who. But is Haaland going to be Saliba's responsibility if he plays, or is it going to be Gabriel, Big Gabby, who's really upped his performances, really been a star at the back? Is he going to be responsible for taking on Haaland? Those just give me the scaries, and I tend to ignore those thoughts. But again, it's not easy to just push them aside, especially when this game carries a lot more importance right now than it did, say, 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, let's also address one thing, right? Is this a must-win game for Arsenal? Because I've
Yes,
spoken to, yeah, there's the answer, right? Because even if we draw, it's a 5 point game, and Arsenal have the tougher run in from here on out to the end of the season. It's only six more, it's only going to be five more games, but we face Brighton, Newcastle, and Chelsea in those 5 games. Not a walk in the park by any
any
means.
means.
And even though City have to win more games, they have more matches in hand. It's still, I would still say pressure would be on Arsenal should we not manage to get the full 3 points on this. But that being said, a draw doesn't kill the competition, though. A draw still keeps us in there, but you're right, it does put City in the driving seat, and of course, a win for City essentially ends at least in my head, it ends the title race. Not so much on paper, but more so psychologically, because you go through 3 draws, two of which at least you should have absolutely won, and then you go away to the Etihad and you face up against your rivals in this season, and then you get beaten a second time in the season in the league. At that point, I think confidence starts to run out. At that point, I think players start to feel like, okay, well, that's maybe the season done. That's maybe now we just focus on the fact that we have to secure Champions League qualification, and that's it. Because on paper, we still haven't secured Champions League qualification either. We still need 2 more points for that, which I'm betting we do achieve. But yeah, that's the big one, right? The big worry. But what's the big positive? Where do you see Arsenal really being able to take control in this match?
It has to be Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko utilizing all their knowledge that they have about City's insane repertoire of tactics and laying it out there. Probably the team being smart enough to know what City might do, or have some idea of the expectations that City will have against Arsenal, and use that knowledge to their advantage. I think that can be an advantage, which is not spoken more, but could be a big advantage.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I really enjoyed watching Saka do more recently is those weird inside the man runs where he kind of takes a run on the inside of the player. I feel like that's something that maybe geared more towards the City game, because their defense tends to be pretty narrow and they tend to play a high line, and the easiest way to get through that high line and make the most dangerous situation for us is to make those runs in through the middle to give us those one-on-one chances. We saw Martinelli get that success when he dropped in the middle again in that Liverpool game, and then we've seen Saka do that a few times this season as well. The biggest thing is going to be drilling into the players, drilling into Saka and Martinelli. Most importantly, is on more importantly, Martinelli is on not breaking those offside traps, because I think we'll have a lot of success in transition against a City team who really do enjoy keeping the ball. But yeah, I think if you're talking about success in transition play, you're going to need Thomas Partey to bring his A game.
Somebody just remind him, hello, wake up, good morning. This can't be that game. This can't be that sloppy game part four. This has to be a game all around.
Yep. So yeah, let us know what you guys think. Manchester City versus Arsenal. Can Arsenal do it? Can we get those three absolutely vital points to then really supercharge the end of the season? And yeah, as always, please like, share, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And we will see you guys next time.